What is going on YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I am your host, JoJo Speaks from Faith Warrior Ministries. And this is my review for Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 9. And of course, I'm just going to be talking about the things that stood out to me. I'm not going to be talking about, giving a whole play-by-play of the entire episode. So that takes too long and that's too much to remember. But I will give you my thoughts on what happened in general. So, we start out with the aftermath of the Nashville, overnight drunk pool party kind of thing going on, where Portia said some things that she wants to say that she doesn't remember. At the same time, she's not necessarily denying that she said, but at the same time, she still is denying what she said. So, anyways, Cynthia is making her rounds, talking to all the girls, trying to get a playback of what happened. And Shamia, who was out there at the little pool party gathering, at the pool party gathering, it was Shamia, Portia, Kelly, and Britt that were out there together. So, Cynthia sits down with Shamia and one of the other girls. I can't remember exactly who it was. And, Shamia explains what happened. And Shamia also got a text from Angela. And apparently, Angela, told Shamia because Shamia was out there with those girls and Shamia really didn't speak up for Angela or didn't defend her or anything of that nature, which we will get to in a second. But I kind of don't understand why Angela was surprised that Shamia didn't speak up for her because although they have been seen together, they've been together in quite a few scenes in the last couple of episodes. Shamia is not the type to really stick up for someone or defend someone. Remember when Kelly asked the question to Shamia and Britt, why did, Portia take that woman's husband? So, and Shamia really didn't, yes, she did sort of kind of defend her, but, she wasn't going to bat for her. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't going hard in the paint for her. So, it is what it is. But Angela was upset that, Shamia really didn't speak up for her or defend her. And so she told Shamia that, she didn't like the energy and, apparently the girls are fake and Angela just doesn't have time for that. And so Shamia felt some type of way about that, and I can understand, you know but at the same time I understand why Angela feels the way that she feels. So it is what it is. Portia tells Cynthia what happened and all that good stuff. So there is that. Anyway, so we get to Britt's storyline. Here's my thing. I want to say this about Britt right off the bat. I hope Britt does not come back for season 17 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Um, I really don't see it for her. I think her voice is annoying as hell. I cannot stand to hear her talk. Um, So her mother is moving in with her. Her mother's selling her house. Apparently, the house that her mother is living in, her father bought for her family, and he unfortunately passed away 1 year after they purchased the home. And so, Britt's mother just wants to move in with her daughter. And here's my thing. It already seems like Britt's husband doesn't s- the way that we've seen Britt and her husband interact, it does not seem that her husband seems to be interested in Britt. Like the scene when Britt and her mother were in the kitchen talking to her husband about having another child, and you know, um, Britt's husband was like, that conversation is to be continued, or we'll talk about that another time. Like Britt doesn't Britt's husband really doesn't show much interest in her in general from what I see or what we as the viewers have seen. And so I'm not sure if this is such a good idea for Britt's mother to move into the home with Britt and her husband, because I have a feeling like this is going to push Britt's husband away from her, maybe even further away than he already seems to be. But Britt says that she wants to get her sisters together to help her mother unpack for her mother moving out of the house. But I don't see this as a really good thing between Britt and her whole situation, her storyline, her family, and that dynamic is looks real shaky to me. And I don't know how I would feel as Britt's husband if she wants to move her mother into our house. Like I would be really uncomfortable with that. Like, because I would feel like we'd have someone looking over our shoulder. We have to look over our shoulder at someone who's constantly has their eye on us. I mean, I'm sure Britt's mother will, mind her business or whatever, but I'm thinking that this will make Britt's husband feel a little bit suffocated, like he really won't be free to be able to live, the way that he wants to live. But anyways, that's just my opinion. Um, so let's go ahead and talk about the scene where Britt is doing the unpacking. Britt's grandmother is there as well. It's a nice little dynamic. Only one of Britt's sisters ends up showing up to the mother's house to help her unpack. They're going into a little bit of detail as to why Britt's mother wants to move out. She says that she has too many memories there. She doesn't want to be reminded of those things, and um, she was speaking as if Britt's father left them, which I guess in a way he did leave them, but they don't go into too much detail as far as the dynamic between Britt's mother and father, but um, Britt's sister is quite a bit. She's quite emotional. She doesn't appreciate her mother moving out of their father's house and, all this good stuff. And then also, Britt's other sister calls in, and apparently Britt's two sisters are not getting along. Britt's two sisters are not on good terms. The sister that is there, she's asking, why have you been in touch with me? Why have you been calling me? And she starts crying, and I begin to roll my eyes because it's just like I just don't care about Britt or her family. Like and I know that might sound heartless to some who are watching this video, but I just don't care about Britt. I really don't. I don't, and I'm not going to pretend like I do. So there it is. Britt's whole situation. Once again, I hope Britt does not come back for season 17 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So let's get into Angela and her husband because although I enjoy Angela as a housewife, as a woman on the show, the main thing about Angela, really the only one of the only things about Angela that truly irks my nerves is the fact that she brings the drama with these girls that she's having with these girls. She brings that drama to her husband, or she, tells her husband what's going on with the girls, and Charles clearly cares not about her situation with the girls. He don't even care about her situation with her own family. Like he don't care about all that. Charles is a man of a certain age, you know what I'm saying? So he's sort of kind of set in his ways. He only wants to care about his issues and he doesn't care about your issues. And I get that. I really do get that. But Angela's working out with her husband Charles, and she's cluing him in on what happened in Nashville, and saying that the girls are saying that he's had a baby out of wedlock on her, and that Angela's words are that he's so easy to he's so easy to get with, and Portia said that she would sleep with him, and Charles is just letting this all roll off of his back like it's nothing because he don't care. He don't care. And then we see in the preview for the rest of the season that there's going to be another rumor about Charles that comes up amongst the group. And apparently this rumor is going to be brought to Charles's attention at some type of event. And we see him walking away. And it's just, I feel so bad for Charles. Although, yes, technically he did sign up to be on this show because, you have to sign some type of waiver or notices before you appear on camera for these shows. So yes, he did sign up for this, but I feel like he is an innocent bystander in all of this. And well, I guess he really can be an innocent bystander if he signs up for it. But at the same time, I feel like he does not deserve to be included in all of this mess. Just the way that Giselle sort of kind of brought in Chris, Candace's husband, Chris, in some mess for a storyline for her, making her feel uncomfortable. Um, I think these girls are bringing up rumors that they don't know to be true about Charles cheating on Angela. I haven't heard. I mean, I really don't keep my ear close to the streets like that. Like that. However, I haven't heard of any of these rumors about Charles cheating on Angela or having a baby out of wedlock on Angela. So I have a feeling that these rumors are coming up just for the sake of drama for this reality TV show, and that just irks my nerves to the nth degree because you are including people who don't deserve to be trashed on national television. And it's easy to bring up these rumors because they're just rumors. They don't have to necessarily be true, but the thing is they talk about these rumors in their confessionals as though they are fact. It's just so annoying. It's so annoying, y'all. But anyways, so Charles, again, he does not care what Angela has to say about what's going on with the girls, and Angela speaks to him as if he would care, but she knows good and goddamn well he don't give a damn. He don't give a damn. But anyways, then we get on to Portia. Portia is hiring a full time nanny. She calls them something else, some official type name that I really don't remember, and I don't care about because I really don't care about Portia. But anyways, and so of course, Portia is filming at her mother's house because she does not have permission to film at the marital home that she shared with Simon. But anyways, that's a read in itself. And so she's meeting up with this woman. She's originally from Africa. She's just moving to America apparently recently, and Portia has Dennis coming by because apparently this is going to be a full time nanny. She's going to be watching Portia's child both at Portia's house and at Dennis's house. And so Dennis comes over, and they're doing this whole Portia has like this welcoming party that's set up for this nanny, this full time nanny, and she's got some gifts for the full time nanny as well. It's really sweet, or whatever, if you want to call it that. Dennis comes over. They ask the nanny a couple of questions, and Portia tells her that she'll be splitting time between Dennis's house and Portia's house, taking care of Portia's child. I'm not sure if Portia is really that busy to the point to where she needs a full-time nanny to take care of her child. But hey, when you got money like that, and you can hand off your responsibilities as a parent to someone else, and you have the means to do it, so be it. Whatever. It is what it is. And so then after she has that whole conversation with her soon-to-be nanny, she pulls Dennis aside, and she's, of course, has to discuss this whole issue with him filming with Drew. Once again, Portia has been on both sides of the fence when it comes to this subject. She cares, but then she doesn't care. She doesn't care, but then she cares at the same time. It's just so annoying. It is so annoying. And then she has the nerve to bring up a rumor, or she ends up saying that Dennis told Portia that Drew wanted to sleep with Dennis. I don't believe this whatsoever. I don't see Drew trying to have an affair with Dennis. And then when Portia tries to pull up some type of proof that that Dennis ended up saying this, she reads out a message that has nothing to do with Drew trying to sleep with Dennis. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Portia confuses me. Portia has always confused me. I can never take Portia seriously in any way, shape, or form, and for any reason at all. So it's just so annoying to watch Portia on this show. It's just oh Lord, it's almost unbearable. But anyways, then we have Cynthia, who's inviting everyone to. Oh, also have to talk about Shamia. Shamia is on this surrogacy train. She meets her new surrogate, who's going to have a new child for her, and I think that's really sweet. Something that Alexander Rogers brought up during his review of this particular episode, episode 9, that Shamia really can't dress. And I have to say, Shamia is sometimes she hits the mark and sometimes she doesn't. Because I really like the dashiki outfit that she wore to this Juneteenth celebration that Cynthia was having. However, the outfit that she was wearing to this meeting with her surrogate was given a little bit, auntie tease. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes Shamia looks really young, and sometimes Shamia looks a little bit older to me. And it mainly has to do with her hairstyle. A lot of times when I see her with the short hair, she looks a little older. But when I see her with her long hair, she looks a little younger. But this whole outfit and the boots and the earrings, and it's just a bit too much. It's just a bit too much, and it didn't look as expensive as the lifestyle that she's leading. But anyways, so she's meeting with her surrogate. Her surrogate looks really young, looks ready, and I'm so glad that if the IVF isn't working for Shamia, then she also has the means and the opportunity to go with a surrogate as well. And so I'm happy for Shamia in her endeavors in having another child. Anyways, so Cynthia is is hosting a Juneteenth Bailey celebration, and she's bringing a prophet for the girls. Here's my issue. As soon as the prophet gets there, she's talking to Brittany, and they're using this prophet as though she's some type of psychic or medium or something of that nature. And it's like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why do we have this prophet talking to these girls like she's an actual psychic? Now, I know that I don't, here's the thing. I don't know if there's necessarily a difference between a prophet and a psychic because, essentially they are somewhat one and the same. However, I typically see prophets doing their work in the sense of or in the environment of a church. I Although, I'm sure prophets do give prophecies outside of the church walls. However, to have this woman who's here as a prophet just speaking to these women as though she's a psychic. I don't know. It just did not sit right with me at all. It really did not sit right with me at all. But anyways, all of the girls get to this Juneteenth event. Once again, I love the dashiki where the Shamia has on. I think it's really cute. She knows how to dress for the occasion. I love seeing that. Um, all of the girls are there. Portia's, really seems to be really cordial with Angela. And Cynthia has Portia and Angela sit to the side in a room so that they can, kind of hash out what happened at the Nashville party, pool party extravaganza that went on. And Angela's like, I heard what y'all said, and I don't think it's right. You shouldn't be talking about my husband that way. And Portia sort of kind of denies it, and then she admits to it, and Portia can't pick a side whatsoever. It's just the most annoying thing with Portia, and I don't know why she feels like she's the queen bee of this season because she's really not at all. To be honest, I don't see any queen bees besides Shamia, to be honest, but it is what it is. And then Kelly, I love Kelly too, but Portia does end up apologizing, sort of, kind of. It's not an actual apology. Oh, it's so half-assed. It's ridiculous, but it's Portia. What else do you expect? And Angela also apologizes to Portia about bringing up the fact that she stole Simon from another woman. So, anyways, then we also see Angela and Shamia sit down together because Shamia had an issue with the fact that Angela texted her saying that she doesn't like the energy of the group and she doesn't feel supported in the group and things of that nature. And, Shamia's point is, it's not my job to speak up for you. It's not my job to defend you. Girl, essentially we're not that close. We're not close like that. So I don't know why you have all these unreasonable expectations of me when Portia is my girl. Why I don't know why Angela would be surprised. I don't know if this is just cultivated drama for the show because I don't know why. Angela, you know that Shamia and Portia are supposed to be like BFFs on the show. So I don't know why she would expect for Shamia to defend Angela in Portia's face when Shamia and Portia are supposed to be the closest friends on the show. So it is what it is. But anyways, Britt and Angela get into it at this whole event that Cynthia's having. Angela calls Britt a whore. That is a classic read that the girls like to use on Housewives of Atlanta or all the Housewives franchises for that matter. Um, and it's a whole thing, Angela says that Britt has a lot of miles on her mouth and all that good stuff, and Britt is like, maybe you need to be taking care of your husband a little bit better, and it's a whole thing. So that's pretty much what happened on this episode of Housewives of Atlanta. I hate the fact that Angela is being seen as a villain in this season so far. I really don't appreciate that. I don't think she deserves that. I think although it is questionable the fact that she invited Drew to Portia's birthday party weekend in Nashville. But I personally think that was the producers that were egging Angela on to do that. And of course, she has to be the scapegoat for making that decision. But anyways, I do like Angela a lot. Angela and Kelly are my favorite girls on this season of Housewives of Atlanta. I love Kelly. I love everything about her. I love her business acumen. I love the fact that she's an entrepreneur and she goes out and gets it. I love that. Um, and I like Angela. Angela's a really nice girl. I love the way that she presents herself. I love the way that she presents her marriage to Charles. Although I don't see much love between Angela and Charles per se, that just seems to be Charles's love language, and that's just the way that he's not the lovey-dovey type. You know what I'm saying? And I get that. Not all relationships are all up on each other all the time, and kissy kissy and huggy huggy and all that good stuff. So it is what it is. But I just cannot stand Portia. Cannot stand Britt. Don't want those girls to be on the next season, but I'm sure Portia will be coming back. I just hope Britt won't be coming back for next season. But make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Press that big red subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. It takes less than a second to mash that thing. So go ahead and mash it for a brother. Be sure to leave a thumbs up. Let me know you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on my channel. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this most recent episode. Who's your favorite housewife? Who's your least favorite housewife? What is your opinion on Portia's storyline with Dennis and Drew? What is your opinion on Angela's storyline with Portia? What is your reaction to Portia saying that she would sleep with Charles? Give me your thoughts down in the comments. Be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And last but not least, share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know that JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. Be sure to join me on Monday nights at 6 p.m. with my friend Dustin. We always do a 90-day fiance review. Also, be sure to join me on every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. We talk about the hottest topics that's going on in the world. Be sure to join me for that as well. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this video. See you guys on the next one. Peace out.